Alright guys, welcome back to part 3. In this section we're going to be going over creating the pot for the bamboo plant, as well as using a particle system to create rocks for the actual pot. So you'll notice before we start, I've made a little bit of some modifications to the bamboo plant since the last section. Basically all I did was just take these individual leaves and just scale them up a little bit, because before they were a little tiny. So just created some more variety right there. Alright, so let's get started creating the pot. Let's get that out of the way first. So I'm going to go to a new layer. Go to front view. Just add a mesh. UV sphere. Drop that down to 16 segments. And then let's bring this up a little bit. Oh, wrong end. Just take that top half off. And then grab that, bring these up. Oh, something like that, I think. Looks pretty good. Okay, now let's just flatten this bottom out, since this is gonna lay on a desk. I mean, technically, I guess it is already flat, but just to make sure, let's just take these bottom faces right here. Because you see that it has like a little nub right there, which we don't want. So let's just take these vertices S, Z, and let's scale that down so it's flat. Something like that. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now, to get this thickness in a really easy way, what we're going to do is go to modifiers, and then solidify. And just give it, oh, I don't know, maybe something like that looks appropriate. Also, you can click the even thickness button. That will help out to, give it even thickness, as the name implies. Okay, so essentially that's the pot. Really, it's really simple. Boom, and it's done. Okay, so let's create that particle system for the rocks that we're gonna use. So basically, the whole idea behind this is that you have like 4 or 5 different variations of rocks, and then from there you use a particle system to choose randomly between those 4 or 5 in a group, and then you can specify how many you're gonna use, or how little you're gonna use. So let's do that. Let's create the rocks really quick. So I'm gonna go to a new layer. And I'm going to use a icosphere, actually. And I think, I feel like 2 subdivisions should be enough. I don't think that's going to be overkill. Yeah, let's go with that. I think that's going to be appropriate. So basically, to create the rocks, all we're going to do really is just, take, I'm trying to collect my thoughts here. One or so, like, basically one, like, version of it, and then just duplicate that 4 or 5 times to just create, subtle differences. So let's take this, like, little pebble-looking shape I have right here. Now, I guess that could be used as the first rock. So let's move that over there. And then just create another one with the same, or with some very subtle shape differences. Oh, maybe something like that. Boom. Okay. Duplicate again. Maybe this one can be a little more elongated, or maybe off like that. And let's do it a couple more times, just get a little more interest. Scale that down like that. And one more time, just so we have a nice, nice even odd number, which is 5. Okay, something like that should do just fine. And, maybe we want to, make some skinny, make some fatter. Okay, that should be good. Alright, so now what we're going to do is select all these rocks. and then press Ctrl G to group them. Now over here in the properties panel, you're going to notice that we're going to name these this group that we've created. So I'm just going to call it rocks. Ooh, if I can spell. Okay, cool. So we have that. Now let's go back over to our layer that has the pot in it, and let's create a plane. And let's go into edit mode, press W, subdivide, and let's give that, I don't know, 10 subdivisions, because what we're after, here, just so I can show you guys, is the more vertices that we have is essentially the more opportunities that the particle system is going to have to, distribute the rocks, and basically it's going to just give you more flexibility. So if I move that back to the origin, let's go back into edit mode, make sure everything's selected, press W, and then let's smooth that out just so we have a nice, oh, you know what, actually, scratch that. Just select the outer loop, I guess. I mean, technically it's not really a loop, just select the outer perimeter of the vertices, and then press Control or Alt Shift S, and then that's gonna essentially, I think the command is to sphere. So really what that's doing here, let me show you. Really what that is doing is just smoothing everything out as you normally would. So maybe something like that. Looks good. And then just for added measure, we can do W smooth and then iterate that a little bit more. Okay. So now we have that. Let's reveal our pot again. You know what, actually, that's not as smooth as I would have liked it. Let's Control Z, or Control Z, Control Z. And let's pick that. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is just attempt to do the same thing. Make sure you have that proportional editing in a reasonable spot. Okay, it's not perfect, but I think that shall do. So let's bring that up again, because really we're not even gonna be rendering this plane, so it's really inconsequential what it actually looks like. Let's scale it down a little bit. Okay, that's actually gonna work out pretty well. Okay, so let's have that, or just isolate that again. Now go over to the properties panel again, or the modifier section again. Let's go over the properties, or to the particle system section. Press new. Okay, now the main areas that we're going to be focusing on are the start and then the end time. So basically where our particles are born and the amount of time until they stop emitting. So if I just do Alt A, you'll see that it'll constantly rain down these particles until it hits frame 200, and then it'll stop. So we don't want that though. What we want to do is do the start and end frame at 1. And now they will only spawn the first frame and then no more. Okay. And then we can also take off gravity so they don't fall like you just saw. If you go down to the field weights all the way down the bottom, and then let's turn gravity all the way off. Actually, I take that back. That's we don't want them to float. Okay, so disregard that gravity part. Here. Okay, so let's go to, where are you? Alright, so if we go down all the way down to the render section, we go to group. Now, if we select our group that we created, so in my case there's 2 rocks because I appended a previous blend file, but yours should only have 1 group of the rocks that you created. So I'm going to select my rocks. And now you notice it looks like a mess of fish eggs. It looks like. But yeah, we can easily fix that by going to pick random. Make sure you have rotation selected as well, because that's going to interpret the rotation and make that random as well. Okay, and now if you go up to the actual rotation tab, you're gonna click that and enable random rotation. So something like that. Really, that's up to you. 0.5 usually is a good starting point. 0.5 to 0.75 is what you can usually, get away with. Okay, now, me personally, I think we have too many rocks right here. So let's bump this down to, say, about 200. And I was saying that we have too many rocks for the time being. Once we actually get our settings dialed in, we'll go back up and then crank that up a little bit. So currently they're a little too small. So let's scale these up a little bit. We can do that under the render tab. So if we go back to the render tab, right where we picked our rock group, we're gonna take this size slider and then just ever so slightly. Now you'll see that the rocks are kind of overlapping. That will be fixed after we do the where is the setting? Is it verts? No, it's not verts. Okay, so actually let's just forget about that part for right now. It's not going to be that big of a deal, but we should address that before we end this. Okay, so actually, let's bring our pot back up to see how it looks. So the size looks decent, I think. Yeah, I'm happy with the size, so let's increase the count. Something like that. Okay, and then the rotation again, there we go, something like that. Okay, I'm happy with that, I think. Maybe we can just adjust the size a tad bit more. Okay, scale the emitter down. Okay. So that looks pretty good. One last thing I want to do before we add our bamboo plant back in is to just add a little bit of curvature, because right now it's a flat plane. So we're going to try to add some concave factors to it. Essentially, we can do that easily by just selecting this face right here. Make sure proportional editing is on, and just bring that down. Okay, now you'll see that there's a little bit of a spoon shape. I forgot the technical term for it. Is it parabola? I'm not sure if it's parabola or not. Let's go with spoon. Okay, but yeah, just give it that little extra oomph of variety. Oh, you see our rocks are poking through right there. Just scale that down one more time. There we go. Okay, so yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's just go back to our rocks and actually add a subsurf to them so they're not so jaggedy. Okay, and then instead of adding it to all the rocks, we can just select all these ones that don't have it. And then shift select the one that does. Then press Control L and modifiers, and then boom, it'll copy all the modifiers. And if we go back to our thing, you'll see that they're no longer jagged. Alright, I'm happy with that. And then let's add one to our pot as well. Okay. So now we add some supporting edge loops right here. Cool. And then that's all set with that. Let's go back and add our bamboo. And just make sure we have that scaled up correctly. Or scaled correctly. There we are. Okay, let's move this just so it's centered up. There we are. Move it along the y-axis a little bit. Okay, now let's just scale up our pot just a tad. Ooh, make sure we select the rocks as well. There we are, something like that. And I think we are nearing completion. I'm going to, just to finish this off, because we're almost done, what I'm going to do is just select these tops and then just bring that down a little bit just so it's not so high. And then something like that. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think that is what we are after. Alright, make sure to save that because we don't want all of our hard work going away. Alright, so that's gonna wrap it up for this tutorial series, guys, I think. And let's see. In a future video, if I was contemplating whether or not I wanted to go into Substance Painter and texture this, so let me know in the comments if you guys would like to see a future video regarding that. But in terms of the modeling, I believe that is complete. So yeah, thank you very much, guys, and I will see you in the next one.